I got Joe Burrow on my mind. Only in this respect, I need you to educate me about this.
Okay.
I know he's had a great year. I know that the likelihood he's going to win the Heisman. But damn it was just 1 year. A year ago, we weren't saying this about him. I see the development over one season. But usually when we see a marquee quarterback coming into the National Football League, they ain't some one-year wonder. They really put on a show collegiately throughout the duration of their career. And because of that, there's a body of work for us to have faith in. Should we not be concerned that as great as he was this year, damn it, a year ago we weren't saying that? Could this be a one-year wonder?
Well, he is from that standpoint. There's no question. But if you go back and look at last year, receivers were dropping passes. It was his first year as a starter. He had been 3 years at Ohio State, never played. So he comes to LSU, and like I say, he didn't have the system. He didn't have the receiving entities, who were much improved this year. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase has been off the charts, a great sophomore. Marshall, the other sophomore. And Edwards-Helaire has really emerged at running back, catching 50 passes out of the backfield. Brissett moved on. He was the leading rusher last year, but he didn't have the skill set of Edwards-Helaire. So I think everything came together, Stephen A. I think that's the one critique you could have is he's 1 year at this level, but he did start last year. He did have a good touchdown interception ratio, but this year he went from 16 touchdowns to 48. And what you saw this year was a guy with the system that fit him, with the players around him helping him out, what he could do against a very difficult schedule as well. And we saw some great individual plays even this past week that he created on his own. So I think the competitiveness, the knowledge of this offense, Joe Brady raves about how quickly he picked up what Drew Brees has been doing so well through his career and with the Saints, and to be as accurate, precise, mobile, he's got it all. So I think if you want to be a doubter, you could say, well, it is 1 year of greatness, but it was 1 year of unbelievable greatness, and that's why he's going to be the number one pick in the draft.
Mel, in terms of who's going to go first, it's a race now. My Giants still barely held on with the 2 wins last night, but they could use a defensive end. But like the Bengals could use a quarterback. You would think.
What?
Like they're other. What's that?
Don't
wish
listen to
that on
McShay
nobody,
on that, Max. Don't go to McShay route on that one.
The point is,
I read that this morning. I was like, are you kidding me? You're digging that grave deeper and deeper.
the point is that not all the teams at the top need exactly the same thing. Often years it's like, oh, you grab the quarterbacks. How do you think that affects, what any kind of movement in that top 10 in terms of trading up or down this year? You think we see any of that?
No, not at the top, because they're two elite players. And you think about Joe Burrow as quarterback to the Bengals, write it down. Giants, Chase Young, write it down.
Right.
You don't move. You got two elite players in positions that are critical to the success of a football team. Pass rusher. Think about Clowney. Think about Myles Garrett, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. Goes on and on. How valuable are those guys? How valuable is Joe Burrow? You mentioned Daniel Jones. I thought he had a great rookie year. I don't have any questions that he's a franchise quarterback. McShay still says he would take a quarterback at 2. Well, that's Todd. Being Todd. Like I say, doubling down on a guy he was wrong on last year will be wrong again now. Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. I watched every throw Daniel Jones made this year. Every play. Just like I did with Josh Allen when he came in, Lamar Jackson, those young quarterbacks. I've watched every throw. And anybody that doubted Daniel Jones didn't watch him. Because he's Danny Dimes for a reason. He's mobile. He's smart. He didn't have his receiving core intact during the year. He had a horrible offensive line. Barkley wasn't Saquon. Come on. Daniel Jones, for a rookie, played outstanding football.
When you think about Tua, getting back to him for a quick second, people are looking at his durability, and they're wondering whether or not they should take him high or not. Where do you stand on all of that? Because obviously the game is considerably more physical on the NFL level than it is collegiately. And even though because he's such a beautiful passer, you got to believe somebody would take him. But in the same breath, because of durability issues, you have folks out there that say, no, you don't take him before middle of the first round. Where do you stand on all of that in terms of what you think might happen?
Well, the durability is why he could drop a bit and allows Miami maybe with that pick. It's not number 1. Remember, I told you that tanking for Tua was a ridiculous bunch of garbage. Nobody's tanking for a player. Those players are out there playing for their livelihood. So, and the organizations are doing things, maybe tear it down and build it back up. That's planning for the future, but it's not tanking. So they're not picking at 1. So you say, okay, we're not getting Tua. Well, yeah, you're not getting Tua. What? Because he could still be there because of that injury concern. So, there's always a concern. There's always some red flag with everybody. There's no guarantee guarantees in this draft. And guys may have been healthy throughout high school and college, come into the league in the first year or two, they get hurt. Some guys have injuries, and they never are hurt in the NFL. Look at Breeze. Miami didn't bring in Breeze. He went to New Orleans because of that shoulder concern. Look what happened with him. So I think with Tua, yeah, the lower extremity injuries are a concern, but when he's healthy, he's great. He's a left-handed version of Breeze is what he could be. And that's why Miami, if he got down to the Chargers or Tampa Bay in that 11 to 15 range, you got to believe they would bring him into the fold. But I really believe come late April, if the medical is okay, he's going in the top 5 to 10 and probably to Miami.
Do you think there are teams out there who are quarterback hungry, who are still eyeing Trevor Lawrence and thinking none of these other guys are that guy?
No, I think he's the number one guy, Max, coming out of high school, right there with Justin Fields. Trevor Lawrence was. He's certainly right there now, just like Andrew Luck. It was that same thing. You knew Andrew Luck was going to be number 1 overall. You know Trevor Lawrence will be as well. And he had those 8 interceptions in the first part of the season. In last 6 games, he's had 20 touchdowns and 0 interceptions with a high completion percentage. He's been spectacular. And now he'll finally get tested against some really good teams, which he hasn't had up to this point. So the great teams await, which would be obviously Ohio State, then probably LSU. So that'll be a test for him. But no, I don't think anybody's worrying about what's happening next year. You worry about now. Players are there to win now. Coaches are there to win now. You don't concern yourself with what can happen next year because you never know where your team's going to be picking, what's going to happen with injuries. Look at Tua. He's not number 1. Joe Burrow is. We'd have been talking about Joe Burrow this time last year. We probably said 3rd or 4th round at best. So the last 3 years we've had Baker, Kyler, and Joe. And nobody thought any of those 3, when we talked the season before, would ever have a chance to be the number 1 pick overall. Pretty amazing how that's all been working out.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.